what's going on in the minds of our teenagers as we go through 2020 with pandemics, crazy stuff happening all around us. On this episode of the Unlock Success Podcast, we're going to get inside the minds of the teenagers of today, and we're going to find out what they're thinking, how this is affecting them, and obviously what we can do to help them through it.
This is the Unlock Success Podcast. We're helping entrepreneurs around the world dive deep into the keys you need to shatter excuses, believe in yourself, and help you achieve your highest goals. Here's your host, 8-figure entrepreneur and the living legend of internet marketing, Anthony Morrison.
What's up, everybody? This is Anthony Morrison, and welcome to another episode, and an extremely unique episode of our Unlock Success Podcast. Now, you know that we're always bringing you different guests and different topics and different things that are both exciting, intriguing, and of course, also educational, right? I mean, the whole idea and the whole premise of this is to help you unlock success in your life, whether it's in your relationship or in business or in anything else that you may be struggling with. And today on my show, I happen to have two extremely unique guests, Cameron, who is 14 years old, and Kaydence, who is 12 years old. Now, these two are my niece and nephew, and I thought it would be interesting, and I also thought it would be really kind of eye-opening for all of my listeners and for everybody around the world that's tuning in to hear kind of what's going on in the minds of children right now. 2020 has been a crazy and insane year. There's been all kinds of things that we've all been faced with that have rocked our worlds, changed the way that we see the world, changed the way that we live, changed the way that we interact with people, changed the way that we do everything. And now, more than ever, it's important to know how that's affecting our kids, right? Because hey, at the end of the day, these two, they are the future of our world, whether we like it or not, right? So we got to make sure that they're like what's going on in their minds, right? That we understand it so that, in my opinion anyway, so that we can help normalize life for them, right? And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to each of them about what they want to be when they grow up, how they've figured that out, and then also how the coronavirus itself and all the craziness that's happened this year has changed their lives, affected their lives, and kind of made them think differently. So Cameron, we'll start with you, okay? And Kaydence, we'll get over to you in just a second. So first of all, I want to know, we talked a little bit about this before we came on here, before we did this. We talked about figuring out what you want to be when you grow up. So tell me now, what are your thoughts? Like, what is it that you want to be when you grow up?
Aerospace engineering is pretty much, it's just my dream goal. Yeah.
Aerospace engineering,
Yep.
Okay, that's over my pay grade and over my head. So tell me what aerospace engineering is.
Okay, so aerospace engineering, it's the people who design and they'll design and create all the rockets and space stuff to go into, space.
So you want to be a rocket scientist?
Practically, yeah.
You want to be a rocket scientist. Kaydence, what about you? What do you want to be when you grow up?
Well, I think I want to be a children's doctor.
A children's
child
doctor? So you want to help kids?
Because I think it would be cool to experience what it's like to have to go through what they're going through. And I think it would be amazing to know that I am helping. So
you want to help kids that are sick?
Yes.
I like it. So compassionate of you. I've not seen this side of her until until we were live. I have not seen this side of Kaydence. I like this side. So Cameron, you want to be a rocket scientist. Tell me, why do you want to be a rocket scientist? What inspired you to want to do that?
It's kind of just been something that's like always on my agenda. So I've generally been good at math. That's my favorite subject in school. And I just like math and science. Those are my two things. And then specifically in science, I like to do physics and all that kind of pretty much just the math-related science. And then I was like, hey, engineering would probably be a great job. And then I did a ton of research when I was like 9 or something.
Oh, okay. That's wonderful. When I was 9, I was playing with baseball cards, but continue on.
Yeah. So yeah, I did a ton of research, and then on all the different kinds of engineers and all that kind of stuff. And then just aerospace engineering is the one that kind of stuck out for me. Because before that, I originally wanted to be an astronomer, which, if you don't know, is also space. It's like the stars.
Right. You want to.
Yeah.
You always just want to do complicated stuff. You were telling me, because we were driving when we came to the studio to film this. We were driving in the Tesla, and
Yeah.
and you said that there was one specific person that you followed that really inspired you. Who was it?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. Now, this is what I think is so interesting, because when I was growing up, I wanted to be a doctor. Now, what inspired me? My dad. My dad said, Anthony, you're going to be a doctor. And so for like 15 years, I was programmed that doctor was what I was going to be. It's not what I ended up being, obviously, but it was the path that I was on. But what's interesting is that kids today, and I don't know this because I don't have children, right? So I talking to you guys the last week or so, and then obviously just hearing what you're saying, it blows my mind, because it's so interesting to me how children are being shaped completely different and in completely different ways now. You said Elon Musk. Now, how do you even know who Elon Musk is?
The internet, pretty much. Yeah.
The internet. So when you're at home, you're Googling and you're looking up Elon Musk, and you're looking up how to be, what was it, a space what?
Aerospace engineer.
An aerospace engineer. This is over my head. So you're looking up all of these things. So the internet is helping to shape who you want to be and what you want to become, right?
Yeah.
And
I definitely probably would not want to be an aerospace engineer, because I would not have heard anything about it unless I had the internet at like a young age, so I could just kind of figure all that
these are the
stuff
things
out.
that they don't teach you in school, by the way, but kids are exposed to them all the time on the internet. Now, I want to talk to Kaydence for a second. Now, you and I talk about Uncle A. He's entrepreneur. Don't have a job, work for myself. What about you? Do you want to work for yourself? Do you want to be a doctor that owns your own practice, or do you want to have a job?
Well, I think I would want to co-own something with somebody, so then I don't have to deal with everything by myself, but I can have somebody else deal with it with me.
So you want some help.
Yes.
But you still think the idea of owning your own business is a good idea,
Yes.
right? Why? What are some benefits of owning your own business?
Well,
Besides having somebody else help you if they're a co-owner.
well, you don't have to worry if you're going to get in trouble if you did something
Okay.
wrong.
This is something Kaydence is obviously concerned about. This happens frequently in her life, I'm sure. What else?
And I think it would be cool, and
Maybe you can't get fired
yes,
because it's
you
your
can't
own
get fired.
job, because you own your own place, and maybe you get to make all the decisions, right? Because you don't have to take orders from anybody else, right?
There's going to be a whole nother hospital if children need it.
Oh, because that's right, because you'll be creating new opportunity for kids. Okay, what about you? Entrepreneur, I mean, obviously if you're going to be an aerospace techie engineer person, right, then that might be a job, but do you also have interests? Like, let's just say, life takes you down a different path, right? Doesn't mean you can't be what you want to be. You both know you can be whatever you want to be, right? Doesn't matter what anybody says. If you want to go to MIT, you can go to MIT. If you want to be a doctor, you can be a doctor. You can do anything that you want to do. But let's just say that life takes you down a different path. Would you rather, do you have any interest in being an entrepreneur? Owning your own business?
Yeah, I think that could be kind of fun. Like, I mean, yeah, like it probably brings on some difficulties and it has some benefits too. So
Right. Interesting to hear the perspective of kids. They both feel like owning your own business is difficult. It brings more responsibility. And at young ages, it's like the responsibility you shy away from, right? They don't even want to do their chores, let alone have to do, own and be responsible for this whole thing. And that's something that I think needs to be, be taught in schools and taught to kids at a young age, is that, like, just because you own your own business doesn't mean that the responsibility is super high, and that, like, getting a job for somebody else is the easier path, right? Because I think that we're so programmed in society, and they're obviously a part of that, and you can see it in their answers, that getting a job is the easy path, and it's the path that we should take, and it's the path that everyone else takes. And this whole entrepreneur thing seems like, oh God, I don't know if I could do that. But the reality is that it's actually quite simple. and it's really not that difficult, and it's really not like this huge responsibility that you couldn't achieve on your own. So I think it'll be interesting when we bring them back in a few years and they have different, their mindsets have changed, they've taken in new information and formulated new opinions about that information. I think it'll be interesting. Let's talk a little bit about the coronavirus, okay? Because I know that the coronavirus has affected my life in a crazy amount of different ways. And I want to know, I'm going to ask each of you about the coronavirus and what you think about it, how it's affected your life, how it's changed your life, maybe good and bad. So Cameron, we'll start with you. What about the coronavirus? How has it changed your daily routine in your life?
All right, so yeah, it definitely has changed it. First of all, I do not need to get dressed for the day. I can just stay in my pajamas.
This is positive.
You know,
this is positive things for children.
It really gets you, like, I get to spend a lot of time just doing the things that I enjoy, which, yes, is like video games, but also it's other things. Like, I get to read more, and I can now do the Rubik's Cube in like 30 seconds because of COVID, because I would not have originally had that time to devote to it when I would originally be doing schoolwork and stuff.
Right, so you've taken some of the free time from COVID and you've turned it into skills. Yeah. Being able to do the Rubik's Cube, learning how to do some of the, you told me earlier you were going to start your own video gaming YouTube channel, right? And you've never thought about that before this, right? Because you were too busy with school and other things. But now when life slows down a little bit and you can't go to soccer games and football games and you can't be out in the car all the time and you're not at school and you're not out and about, you have a little more time to focus on some things that you could do. So it seems like you're focusing on some things that are going to make you a little bit better, a little bit smarter, and possibly even make you money, right? Because now with the internet, you can do your own video gaming. This is the craziest thing. Children can make money doing almost anything, by the way. And that's something that's so mind-blowing, because when I was 14 years old, I had just started making money on the internet at 15. I would say 14 would be a little young. But I started my first business online at 15 years old, and that was eons ago. And it's interesting now just to see how it changed. Like, I was selling car parts. He can get paid thousands of dollars playing video games and letting people watch it, right? So it's interesting to see how kids can take the things that they love and the activities that they love and actually make money from them if they have the time to focus on it. And I think that's important too, for parents to realize that, throwing kids through the same routine every single day and never giving them time to be creative, never giving them time to explore these opportunities and these things that they can do online is a bad thing, because at a young age, if they start seeing opportunity when it comes to the internet and being able to use it for more than just reading about Elon Musk and more than just playing games, when they see that they can use it to make money, it's inspiring, it's exciting. I mean, you're excited about, you told me you'd do almost anything for $19 today.
Yeah.
You were literally trying to eat a garlic cube or something for $19, right?
Shallot.
A shallot or something. So I imagine if you could make $19 a day playing video games on YouTube, you would do it.
You could make a lot more than that.
You can make a lot more than that. See, that's a good thing. Tell me about negative ways. What's been a problem for you, negative for you?
I mean, I haven't been able to see my friends much. I mean, I can kind of supplement that with like texting and stuff. But I mean, I still don't get to see many people in person. As you might be able to tell, we haven't been in school for a while too, because the online learning, it's not quite as hands-on, meaning that it's still great. It's definitely better than nothing, but it's not as hands-on and good as being in like school. And it's given me a lot of more time to do things that I probably shouldn't spend so much time doing, like playing video game marathon things.
Yeah, but it's interesting because when I was a kid, I would have loved this opportunity to not go to school. I'm not gonna lie, but it's interesting. You like school?
Yes, I do.
You enjoy it. And what about you, Kaydence? Do you like school?
Well, I don't like going to school and waking up early. And I don't like learning, but I do like hanging out with my friends and eating lunch.
Oh, on this episode of Unlock Success, how to make Kaydence happy. No learning, no school, just hanging out with friends. What about coronavirus? How has coronavirus changed your daily routine and what you do every day?
Well, when we had to do online schooling last year, I set an alarm and it would go off, but I wouldn't get up because I didn't have any motivation to catch the bus.
Okay.
So I would lay there until my Zoom was in like 5 minutes. And then I would freak out and I'd go get on it. And with the schooling, like, our parents aren't always there right by us to make sure that we're doing it. So sometimes we get behind and then the work keeps coming and coming and you just can't really catch up.
Oh, I see. So you find it a little bit harder to do the online learning, right? What about positive things that have come from the coronavirus? More time with your family?
Yes.
More time with your family? I think both of us could say a week at Uncle A's house swimming and going on the boat is a positive from coronavirus, right?
Definitely.
So there's some positives. All right, last question for you. All right. And this was a big thing for me, a big thing for Josh, who's behind the scenes. So I'm going to ask both of you because I think it's super important. So we'll start with you. So you play video games, that's right, but you want to be an astronaut and an engineer, and you're looking for ways to make money and to be successful. You're not trying to bum around, right? Mm-hmm. I want to know, and you love school too. How big of an influence was your mom in making you become who you are right now?
Yeah, my parents have been pretty big influences on really everything because they're always kind of there to just like help you through all the difficult times that you have as a child because you haven't experienced like anything at all yet.
Right.
And it's great because they're really always just there to help you pursue your goals that you really want to do. And it's great.
Yeah. What about you? You told me something that was very important before we came on here about your parents. I said, how important is it to you to have, your parents, and how have they helped you to become who you are? So tell me how important it is to have their support in things that you do.
Well, if I feel like they don't have my support with it, I feel like I shouldn't do it. And they do have my support, and it gave me the confidence to try harder in school and be ready for 8 years of college.
Oh, wow. She's already thinking about college. Kaydence is the forward thinking. So both of you would agree that having your parents' support is important. These are things
definitely.
that are important. So if your parents don't support you and they tell you can't do this and you can't do that and you can't be this and you can't be that, that would be a very bad thing, right? Right? So see, it's very important. I'm learning a lot about parenting, by the way, because I have no clue what in the world goes on with parents, but I do know that from listening to them, it sounds like it's really important for parents to be supportive and also to be a part of your lives, right? Interesting. Well, listen, we're going to have both of you come back on the podcast maybe in about 5 years. And we're going to see where your minds are in 5 years once you've had a little more external influence on them, right? We'll see if you're a rocket scientist, and we'll see if you're getting ready to be a doctor, and if you're going to help a bunch of kids, and we'll see how things go. Does that sound good?
All right.
Very good. Listen, one of the things that I love to do is get inside the minds of people I don't understand. And trust me, I do not understand a 14-year-old and a 12-year-old. But what I do think is important is that as entrepreneurs and certainly as adults, with such a crazy thing that's happened throughout this year, we need to understand what's going on in the minds of these little ones, right? Because, like I said, they are the future of our world, and the craziness that we've seen happen this year, just across the board, has to affect them in many different ways, and in ways that there's no way we have any research and any history on to where we could even be prepared for what this type of activity and this type of year would do to our kids. But what I can see is that just from hanging out with them, from talking with them, and from obviously having them here on the podcast is how important it is that they have people in their lives, that they have opportunity in their lives, and that their parents, friends, and the people that they admire most are supportive in such a crazy time in their lives, right? So things that I'm learning, and I hope that you've learned a little bit about this. If you don't have kids, that's okay. Again, understanding other people, right, is one of the things I feel like anyway is most important for entrepreneurs, because as an entrepreneur, usually you're starting a business and you're selling a product, or you're selling a service, or you're putting something out there, and you want somebody to take advantage of it. And in order to do that properly and market that properly, you got to get in the mind of your client. You got to understand who that person is. And the only way you can do that is through research, through listening. Listen more than you talk, and learn as much about people as you can, even the people that you may not feel like are your target audience, because guess what? One day they will be. So hopefully you've learned something here. Hopefully this has been a fun episode of the podcast, and I look forward to seeing you next time with another episode of our Unlock Success podcast.